Hey, my name's Paul McCarthy with Hero Facility Service. Welcome to episode number 25 of Facilities First. And today I am blessed and honored to have one of the rock stars in our business. I have Jessica Fumo with Sephora. Jessica, how are you?
I am good, Paul. How are you?
I am blessed. And I know that we talked about this at Connects, and I am so excited to have you on.
I'm honored. I'm like, this is like celebrity. I'm just this is very exciting. So thank you.
Well, the good thing about it is, I was talking to Peyton before you came on, is there are certain people that when you see the brand name, you just think of. And so I have a little surprise for you. We went to Disney Springs the other day, and guess what I saw? Peyton, will you put it up? And who did I think about? I thought
Love
about
it.
Jessica.
Love it.
So as I told you, we're gonna try to stay kind of within the outline, but I never do. So poor Peyton's back there. But we do start always with rapid fire. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do
All
this.
right. First thing comes to mind, coffee or tea,
Coffee.
beach or mountains.
I can't answer it. It's both.
Oh,
I can't pick one.
okay.
Both of
Morning
them.
person or night owl?
Morning.
What's one people thing would be one thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
Um, if you didn't know me and you only saw me on camera, I'm only 4'11", so I'm little. It's not a surprise, but it's a fun fact.
That is a fun fact. And now let me ask you, because I do have personal experience from that. My wife is 4'11 and 3/4.
So I've been 4'11 and 3/4 my whole life until like now. I'm willing to say I'm only 4'11 now. I must be shrinking.
You know, my wife and I, we knew each other since we were kids. And so those 3/4 as a kid, I mean, she
It's a
stood
lot.
on that. It is. So vertically challenged people, I feel for y'all.
And
Uh,
no, I'm not officially handicapped. People ask me that. Like, you're under 5 feet. Do you get a hand? Nope, nope. We're not at that level yet.
well, I'm not gonna make any roller coaster ride jokes or anything like that because I know that you're above the height limits. So here's one last one. If you're not talking facilities, what are you talking about?
Soccer. My
Okay.
kids all play soccer. I'm always on a soccer field with them. I'm either at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte for the Charlotte FC team. So if it's not work, it's soccer.
Did you grow up playing soccer?
I did play soccer until middle school. And
Okay.
then where I lived in New York, there whatever other fall sports were in that same season, I had to choose. And I ended up picking volleyball over soccer.
Uh,
So,
okay. I,
yeah.
I smile because I'm a soccer player. I played from the time I was 4 years old to 18. And so that's my jam. And the
Yep.
World Cup being on was the greatest thing in the world.
It was awesome.
It helped my productivity so much.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So let's jump in a little bit about facilities because it is facilities first. So people don't wake up one day and just say, you know what? I want to be a FM. I want to be a facilities manager. How'd you end up getting found in this career?
So I have shared my story a few times, but I love sharing it, so I'm excited to share it again. And you're 100% right. You don't wake up one day and say, "I want to be the person stores or retailers call when their toilet overflows," right? Like that wasn't my dream. But I was in college and I was in my business law class and I had a great connection with my professor. I had her for a couple different classes and to the point I invited her to my wedding, like, we became so close. But one day she was like, "I think I have an internship. I know it's happening in the school, in the college, and I think you'd be great for it. Like, what are you interested?" And I was like, "Absolutely." Like, I was freshly engaged. Like, I'm like, "Let's just like whatever I can get experience in, like, I want it." My degree was business, so it was related to business. So she hooks me up with whomever the person was, and we walk to the physical plant. And I was like, "Is this like, am I about to get murdered? What's the physical plant? Where are you bringing me?" It's like this back building at the back of this college, it's like no one else is allowed to walk. And we walk in, and it was just like this office, and they're like, "Okay, here's what we have to do." And we had on-site technicians, so they just worked for the college. It was like six
Good.
people. We had one plumber, one HVAC guy, and I got to like be on the little walkie-talkie to be like, "Hey, John, we have an HVAC issue in this building," and he'd be like, "All right, 10-4," and I'd be like, "Okay," and then I would write down the work order. And I loved it. I really was like, "Oh, this is like, it's always like quick, and I'm always hearing a complaint and able to help someone. Like I'm constantly like doing something." And shortly after, I mean, what was it? It was an internship, so I was getting like $4 an hour. Shortly after, unfortunately, the manager found out she had cancer. So she was like, "Listen, I'm stepping down for a while until I get everything, so she could do all the things that she had to do for her health." So she's great. Well, she was great. She ended up beating it, which is wonderful. I want to make sure I say that now.
That's all.
But with her departure, they hired me basically full time. So they gave me like $13 an hour and were like, "We want you to just run it." And I was kind of like, this was like probably 3 months after I started. And I jumped to the like, I was just like, "Yeah, like let's do this." And I got to like organize things the way I felt was easiest for me to be able to like dispatch and track, and I loved it. So graduating, I applied for an ops maintenance position at Dress Barn, and I had no idea what Dress Barn was. I was like, I have no idea. Show up and met with HR, had great conversations. I was like, "This is, I really like doing this." And they're like, "Well, there might be a better growth opportunity for you in HR." They're like, "We love your personality. Like, just think about it. And like, we have a position here too, and we'd like to offer it to you." So I didn't even meet like with maintenance. I just met with HR, and they asked me to work for them. So I was like, "Sure." Like I said, I was freshly engaged. I'm like, I got a corporate job. Like, this is great. So I started in HR, and it wasn't for me. I'm a very happy person. But I couldn't do that. Like, I won't even say it wasn't for me. So about a year, it was probably 1 year. Dress Barn was hiring again. The other maintenance person now left, and I was like, "You know what? This is it. This is my chance. I miss it. I want to be back. Like, I know that's where I'm supposed to be."
Yeah.
So I applied for it, and the guy's name is Jeff, who was wonderful. And I didn't hear anything. He was the VP, like literally nothing. I didn't even get like acknowledgement of applying. And I'm like, come on, like this, I know this is for me. So I wrote him a letter. Like it was like a full page, and I was like, "This is where I'm meant to be. Like, I will not disappoint you." I remember that line. Like, that's pretty much how I closed it. I was like, "I promise you, you will not be disappointed with me." And they hired me, and I I was right back in it. I loved it. I was able to meet people that I still know today. I was promoted within a year to a senior coordinator position, and that's really how it all started. Like, that was it.
Wow. So, has anybody described you as tenacious?
Yes.
Okay. And I still remember when you and I first met, you were on stage at Connects FM. And by the way, congratulations on being
Thank
the
you.
board chair. But you were on the big screen, and you and I have something in common. We both wear crucifixes.
I do. Yes, I do.
And
Yep.
I noticed that from far away. And I believe we talked about being Catholic. And
Yes.
so, I tell people, and I'm not afraid to talk about faith on my show, but I tell people God works in just such mysterious ways. And it sounds like, how you ended up in facilities was just God taking you on your natural progression. So
Yeah.
that's an awesome story. So all these years later, what do you still love about it?
I love that I can people rely on me to help them. And in 99% of the time, I can help them. So I'm helping them, making their lives easier, making them be able to do their job, making them feel safe, feel comfortable in the space that they're working in. Like, I just love that feeling of like, you can count on me because I am here to help you.
How how has it evolved in your time in the industry? What are some of the changes that maybe you're battling with or you're enjoying a lot now?
I honestly, it's such a good question because it does evolve. The more I have grown as a leader, my focus now and like one of my favorite things is my team. I love my people and I love being able to work with them and beside them and coach them because they love to be the helpers too. Like we all have that same passion to help. And it's just like when I first came to Sephora a couple years ago, or a few years ago now, 3 now, I knew this was gonna be the biggest team that I was going to start out with. Sorry if you hear some background noise. Um, and I was like, you know what? My focus is people. Like I'm shifting from just stores and concerns in stores and issues in stores. And I am focused on my people and coaching them and building them and try. And no one's going to be me. And I have to remind myself of that. But I'm going to do my best in trying to help coach others so that I can share my journey with them and my success with them because I feel like it's been a hard journey. Like no, there was nothing that was easy about it. They say like, right, there's no elevator to success. You have to
Yeah.
take the stairs. And I took the stairs over the past 20 years and I'm proud of taking those stairs because each step is a different part that you're learning and growing on. Like you're not going from 0 to 60 and you're not ready for it. You're slowly, gradually learning. And with that leadership that you are portraying, it's from your experience. So like that's like I want to be able to give back to that.
And I think that you possess something that people talk about a lot of times, but they don't necessarily have it, is servant leadership. And I've seen that in your LinkedIn and just with your team that you truly are a servant leader and that you want to give back. And what do you attribute that to? Your parents, to your upbringing?
I attribute a lot of my work ethic, just who I am, to my parents. My both my parents worked full time. They worked hard. My dad never had a missed day of work, like never called in sick. And my dad was also like, and my mom, they're always willing to help. They would never do it for me, never. Like there was no easy way out. And I used to hate that because even if it was a homework assignment, I was like, hey, how do I do this? My mom would word it in a way that still made me have to do the work. And I'd be like, why? Just, help me. And so I think that really helped me like earn what I want, work for what I want. Like I need to do it myself because no one else is going to do it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I always tell people, especially, you've been in this industry for 20 years and you're still young, but you start looking at things differently and you want to leave a legacy. And I call them the coaching trees, because much like in sports, there are facility leaders that have coaching trees that people go out and they have new jobs, and you can directly see how their leader impacted them. What legacy do you want to leave?
I don't want to be perfect. I don't want it to be like the Jess way. What I would say is like we're humans first. And if I can leave anything behind, it's that we take care of our people. We're more than a job. Like like there's heart in everything that you do.
That's
It's
that.
corny. It might sound corny. It might, but it's so genuine.
No, it's true, and I think back in the 90s, culture wasn't really a word, and then culture became a big word, and then it became family. And I think too many people overuse that because what it really came down to was a person's heart, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, and I love the family. Yeah, it's the family is even outside just the team. The family is the industry. Like it's so massive, But it's not. It's so small. Like it's like you know who you know, and you build those relationships, and you can lean on this person or lean on that person. So it's ironic to be like, oh, this big industry, but it's like a small family.
It really is. It really is. And when I first came into facilities almost 2 years ago, I knew that from my hospitality, I was a GM at Chili's, and so I knew the RFMs. People didn't really know what they did. They think a store just opens and everything is great. But I really wanted to shine the spotlight on the guys and girls that are behind the scenes because without y'all, that little hand drawn sign is going to be on the front of the door, and you never know if that customer is going to come back. And so there's a lot of pressure on you guys. Now, I'm going to switch because I am on the vendor side. What is your one pet peeve about a vendor when they're calling on you?
I'm gonna go back. Like it's calling me without heart. It's calling me with a sales pitch, calling me just because you have a job and a task versus building a relationship. Like um, you'll never work for me if I don't know you.
Mhm.
And I'll say that anywhere. And if I do know you and we do work together and you do a great job, 9 out of 10 times wherever I go, you're going to come with me. And I feel like that's why I've had so many of the same. I've had more lately, but like I have so many of the same core vendors for so many years because there's a fine line of that family and friendship. And there's also like you perform well. And I feel like honesty and transparency is like key to that because it's like, don't give me the runaround. Don't give me, your grandmother tripped on her neighbor's dog and you have to bring her to the hospital. Like I've literally had some of these crazy, and I'm not going to say they were lies because God knows maybe they weren't. But
Yeah.
like, just be straight. Like, just like honesty is big, but like, don't come with a sales pitch.
Yep. And that's one of the things that I myself, I hate the word sales because
Ugh.
everybody hears it and they think of the used car salesman that runs out on the lot and you just feel slimy after you leave.
And there's some people still like that though, that's the problem. So it's like you always on my side, and I can't speak for everybody, but for me, my guard is always up when, I get the phone call. Like I had, a couple weeks ago, I had my phone ring, and it wasn't a number I knew, and it wasn't a Sephora number because we had the same area code. So I was like, you know what? I'm on a call, whatever, I'm not gonna answer it. Like 2 seconds later, they called back, and I'm like, "Huh." I didn't answer it because I was still on the call. 2 minutes later, they called back again. So I was like, "You know what? Maybe this is like an emergency somewhere. Like this is someone trying to reach me and I'm not answering." So I
Yeah.
pick it up and it was a vendor trying to get in. And I'm like, really? Like, to me, like, like, you just, like, burned that bridge with me right there. I can't that's not respectful. Like, you need to be respectful of time, respectful of process. Like, you're not gonna meet me today and be a primary vendor for all of North America for me tomorrow. Like, that's not how it works. So understand the process.
And that's one of my goals and one of the legacies I want to leave in the facilities world is it's about relationships
Mhm.
because people do work with people they like and they trust. And I
Trust is
know,
a huge word. Yeah.
yeah, and I know from a vendor side, if you have a store and you call me and we drop the ball on it, we have that trust factor in that relationship where you're going to call me and you're going to say, Paul, and you might chew me out a little bit, but it's how I respond in that moment and
Yeah.
how I solve the problem. And that's where I think a lot of vendors will say, oh, well, I'm sorry, it was XYZ.
Be
Well,
accountable. Just say what happened.
hold
Yes.
yourself to it. And
Yeah.
so I see that a lot of vendors are starting to see that and value the relationship aspect of it. And from being a GM at Chili's and an area director, I tell people all the time, if I can get yelled at over cold ribs, I can get yelled at over anything.
Yeah.
And but at the end of the day, it's that response and how we handle issues. So let me ask you this. Being around for as long as you have, what would you tell Jessica 20 years ago?
to relax. These aren't, we don't work in the ER. People aren't losing their lives. Um, it's okay if things take time as long as you're doing your job. I think that's what I would say. Like younger Jessica, I love how you said before, I'm still young, so thank you. Um, 20-year-old Jess was very much like, I didn't have anxiety over it, but I was so determined to not miss any single thing. I got like it was like, okay, and in facilities it's nonstop. It's 24/7. And I feel like 20 years ago, you were lucky if you had two people on a facilities team. So it really was like this one man job, one woman job, where you're just constantly going, going, going. If that were me today, I would be like, my, work life balance needs to be a priority. Like I'm not devoting 24 hours of the day to this, and I'm going to like maybe think outside the box of what process I can figure out now, because now that's what I think of, right? If something's broken, not working, I'm like, okay, what's the process that we can do to fix this so that way it is streamlined versus just being in the weeds and answering 30 calls and emails at the same time. So relax.
And and that's a great point because I think over the years, as you gain experience, rather than chasing problems, you learn how to solve problems.
Yes.
And if you see something happen two or three times in a row, okay, what's
A
the common
trend.
yeah, what's the
Yeah.
common denominator? And and I do love something that you brought up is facilities 20 years ago was usually just one or two people.
Yeah.
And that brings me to another point that I think facilities has really evolved into, which I love, is the relationship between the facility team and the operators. Y'all, as facility people, have become more educational and just helping the team so that they can do things and they're not just looking at a electric panel going, why is that one red, that one's green? But y'all educate and y'all coach and teach,
Yeah.
which which is really cool to see in the facilities world because I'm sure that takes some headaches off of y'all's plate.
Yeah, and even 20 years ago, I that was the first time I went to a vendor and said like, "Hey, can we go up on the roof and you show me what it means to change a filter? Like, should that be X amount of hours?" Like, because I was really challenging, like, what's the labor for doing this or doing a leak check? And I remember his name was John from AJK Mechanical. He was a local guy that was in New York, where Dress Barn's corporate headquarters was, and he brought me up on the roof and he showed me, and I'm like, wow. So like, I did I get like a 2 hour lesson? No, but I got like the gist of like, hey, when you open up the panel, this is what you're gonna see. And I thought it was awesome. And I still use like like example today. And I tell my team like, if you can get hands-on experience safely, like do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's invaluable. It's one of those things, get your hands dirty and just jump right in. So, I'm going to touch on something because probably 20 years ago, I would guess that females in facilities was not something that you dealt with a lot. So, what have you seen over the past evolution of the couple decades about females in facility? Because there are some rock stars that I know. And I think Carrie Steers from Dutch Bros just commented, and she's one of the rock stars. And so tell me about how you've seen it evolved.
I think back in the day, like when I first started, it was like, oh, you have to have thick skin, right? And I don't think that's the case now. There's no excuse to tell someone they need to have thick skin to deal with someone else in the way that they treat you or how they perceive you because you are female or male. And I think that's the difference now. It's uncalled for, it's not necessary, and it's not supported anymore like it used to be. Like you used to have to just deal with it. Like I consider myself one of the guys. Maybe that's why things are easier for me. I always had guy friends growing up. I was always playing a sport. I was always outside, in the dirt and fishing and things like that. And so I always did have thick skin, and I was, that's just how I was, but I feel like it just became an excuse
Mm.
for how people can be treated. So I think that has completely shifted and is the opposite now.
And I think it goes back to the evolution of the human relationship. Times do change, and we have to change with different relationships. We talked about the vendor early on that called you 3 times in a row. Now, I know if somebody called me 3 times in a row while I'm on a business call, I might want to say some choice words, but we're also representing our brand, right? So,
Yes, yes.
but the relationship aspect of the facilities world and the family side of it is something that I don't think people outside facilities really understand. So if you were sitting next to a young kid coming out of high school or coming out of college and they want to come on with Sephora, what would you tell them about the facilities industry?
You live and learn. I think that would be my best piece of advice because I've I shouldn't say recently because it's not with Sephora, but previously, like I've had some fresh out of college coworkers, I'll say, that worked with me, and they're eager, which is wonderful. And I shouldn't say that I'm not like saying everybody, but this person was really eager and they wanted to just get promoted and move up and be manager. And like it's not like that. You need to just learn how what things happen. There is no textbook that says like a woman's going to accidentally press the gas instead of the brake and she went through your front of your storefront. Like, here's step one. Like, you have to like live in this retail facilities world to understand what can happen. Like, dress barn. I can't tell you how many customer accidents in the fitting room happened. Like I wouldn't be able to be prepared. Like, you don't prepare for that. Like, you don't know. Like, so when I say like there's just you live it. That's all I have. That's honestly that's it. Live and learn. Like that's you're gonna grow by experiencing it. Like
Yep.
don't rush it.
And that's your best friend is experience. And I'm
Yes.
glad you brought up a car running into the front of a store because I normally ask, what is the craziest work order call you've ever received?
Is it weird that that is not the craziest work order? um, I think the craziest and coolest work order that I ever received was when I worked for Party City, and there was a store in Florida that had an alligator on their loading dock. And I mean, I'm like an alligator, like, and so we saw like where it came, must have came through it because there's a fence that was there, and like you call animal control, and they're kind of like an alligator. That was definitely I've never that was my one and only alligator call, but that was a special one.
Okay, now that one might take the book. Take the record of everyone I've heard. So, it's funny because we talked about this. I said it ends up being a fireside chat, and that's what I love. God has blessed me with people like you, and it's such a fun time to do this. But you're not off the hook yet. So I end every show the same way, and I have 2 questions for you.
Okay,
What hill will you die on, whether it be facilities or life?
so I'm going to say life, and there is black, white, and leopard. Leopard is a neutral, and I will die on that hill.
Leopard is a neutral.
It is a color, it is a theme, it is a style, it is a life. Special right there.
Okay. No, I'm just thinking about my wife's leopard shoes that she puts on one of those and one of the other one and says, which one should I wear? And I always pick the non-leopard one. So maybe I'll
A
give some
leopard.
leopard some props from now on, thanks to
Yes.
Jessica. Okay. Here's the other one that always makes people think. What's the one question I didn't ask you that I should have known to ask you?
What is the one question? Um, I thought about it. I'm like, what I outside of like personal, like
Whatever.
kids, family, I think you had wonderful questions to ask about the industry, tying in personal ties into it. But if you didn't ask me and it's personal, I'll say like about my family and that quick story, which is I Married my high school sweetheart. We have 3 children together, so I have a senior, a freshman, and a 7th grader. They just started school this week, which is wonderful. I have 2 cats and I have 2 dogs, one being my soul dog, and she is my absolute favorite, and her name is Nala, and they're both pit bulls, and I will die on that hill too that pit bulls are the best dog you could have.
Wow.
There's my
That's
mic drop.
that's a cocktail conversation. Because I'd like to hear more. And what was your dog? What was your soul partner? Your soul dog?
Nala,
Nala.
Nala.
Is that from Lion King?
It is, it is.
Panja. Panja. Greatest show ever. Just I know you were busy and I appreciate you taking the time jumping on with me. And it's truly a pleasure to have you on. I know there's some comments going on LinkedIn that are talking about you. So have a blessed day. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time on Facilities First. Bye.
Thanks.